Welcome to week 11 of the Prep Pigskin Report Unplugged. My name is Rudy. I'll be your host this evening. However, please, a warm welcome to my co-host.
A warm welcome. Thank you.
Let me
do
the seductive turn to Bert Grossman, who Strikeforce head coach. Strikeforce season not going to happen. A lot of things aren't going to happen as we push back into what is a pretty restrictive tier of our COVID-19 reopening plan. How's this going to affect high school football?
Oh, God. How's it going to affect the show, actually? I mean, if we do bring high school football back, and are we essential? Are we allowed to come here and
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what? We keep
toss.
Yeah, we keep hearing about high school's going to come back, or everybody's hoping mid-December, but it seems like they keep moving the goalposts, and it looks further and further apart. I mean, just with our indoor football, the rest of the leagues are going, except the two California teams, because of that.
Yeah, we have video, I believe. There we go. The governor making his proclamation this week. I have a bigger concern as the long-range implications of high school sports in general. Are we pushing towards a phase where high school, because there's a lot of administrators would like to be free and clear of high school sports. It's just a budgetary issue with them. Could you see a day where high school sports has just become privatized?
Oh, no. I hope not. Yeah, I mean, you see it with clubs now. I mean, a lot of people are going out and doing club sports. It's an interesting thing, but I hope not. I mean, it's a fabric of America. It's been that way forever, and I hope it stays that way.
All right, well, we'll talk to Joe Hines about that in a bit. But right now, our first conversation of the evening. It's time for some hot air in the cool zone presented by Mozzie Heating and Air and Solar. Our guest tonight, NFL veteran Darren Carrington Sr. DC, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Paul and Bert.
Darren, where would I rent a background with all those awards? Is that something I could do?
Hey man, you got to.
For people that don't know, you played.
You gotta have good kids, man.
Come on. Oh, I thought they were yours. My bad. All right, sorry. For those that don't know, you played 8 years in the NFL, a couple Super Bowls. Tell us what that was like for you and how much work it took to get there.
It was amazing, right? My childhood dream from 8 years old, and once you work hard, you achieve something. It's a dream come true. It was everything that I thought it was going to be. It allowed me to do things that I probably wouldn't have been able to do for another 10, 20 years. But there's no way, if I can do it all over again, even with all of the stuff that comes along with it, I 100% would do it again.
Well, let's look at the bio board. You got a big taste of the league in 8 seasons. You played for a lot of teams. And for those that don't know, does this record still stand? You have kind of one of those dubious records of the most kick returns in a Super Bowl when you're playing with the Broncos. Explain why that's not such a cool record.
Well, whenever you get a kickoff return, that means the other team has scored. Which means the other team scored a lot that day. Yeah,
well, we have some video of some of those returns. At the time, did you know that you were in the process of setting a league record?
No, I mean, I won. That's my rookie year. I'm just excited to be in the Super Bowl, although we were, getting blown out. But it was a great thrill, and they kept kicking it to me, and I just kept taking it. I was like, let's go.
So you were used to getting blown out because that happened with the Chargers too, right?
Wow, really? That year, only 2 teams made it to the Super Bowl. So all the other teams who talk trash, they wasn't there.
So I asked Natron the same question, and I'm going to ask you. Was it more devastating that loss that year, or me getting traded and you not being able to hang out with me anymore?
Most definitely you getting traded.
All right, I was just wondering.
You lie. So now you work with Miles McPherson over at the Rock Church. Tell us about that. Now, how did that happen? How did that come to be?
Well, I came when I was playing with the Chargers. Miles came to an alumni event and he spoke there, and we just hit it off. It's kind of that in-group New York thing. So we both were from New York, and we started talking, and next thing you know, we became friends, and here we are, 20 plus years later.
Great. Hey, tell us a little bit about your daughter. She played at Horizon.
Yes.
Then she went to Stanford. Now she's at Baylor. Tell us a little bit about her.
Yes. Yeah. So she went to Stanford, played there. She got a dual degree from Stanford, 3.5 years, and she had a year of eligibility because she redshirted last year. She had a little surgery that was supposed to heal faster than it did. So, she decided, Stanford actually told her that, well, we don't know if we're going to have a scholarship for you. Like, really? So she said, you know what, I'm good. I got my degree. I'd like to try something else, go to a different part of the country. And, it was between Baylor, Oregon, and UConn. And she picked Baylor.
I want to go back to Miles McPherson because I've gotten to know him a little bit. Hopefully be working with him more as the PPR progresses. Talk about your relationship. And, as far as somebody making a difference in his community, Miles McPherson is in the upper 1% here in San Diego. Is he not?
Oh, 100%. I mean, just what we do. The one thing I love about him is what you see is what you get. But the other thing is that he's so much bigger than just Sunday. Unfortunately, in a number of churches, it's all about the Sunday ministry. And his thing is doing things for the community, being out in the community and showing people what the love of God looks like outside of a building. So I feel like that's what makes him and the Rock Church different, is that we're not just about loving people in the building. We want to love you where you are and help you to understand how you can have and receive the love of Christ.
Hey, tell us how important it is to have a plan after football and to have a mentor like Miles McPherson to steer you in the right direction.
Well, it's 100%, crucial to have a plan after football, because one half of 1% make it into the NFL. And then those that do make it into the NFL, the average career is about 3.3 years. So even if you play, most likely you're not going to make enough money to be able to just retire. So it's very important for you to have a plan after football. The question is always, when should I start thinking about life after football? It's the day you get in. Is the day you should start thinking about it, because that's when you have the opportunity to have the most connections, and people would love to bring you in as an intern, saying that, hey, this is my buddy Bert Grossman. He plays for Philly, the San Diego Chargers. Anybody would love to bring you in and train you and help you to develop.
Darren, thank you so much for the words of advice. If we can't get Bert re-signed, you're next into the spotlight. You know that, right?
Hey, let's do it.
It's going to jump you way up in the tax bracket. You better watch out.
I know.
No, stop. See, that's the reason why you're not going to be re-upped. All right, thanks, DC. We'll talk to you later. It's time now to highlight our guys at the next level, starting with Greg Bell of SDSU, the former Bonita Vista Baron, rushing for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Aztecs' 34-10 win over Hawaii. Bell became the first Aztec ever to rush for over 100 yards in each of their first 4 games to begin their SDSU career. And I know we've done this before, but this is just an amazing story. Alex Smith, the former Scotty from Helix, throwing for 390 yards and a touchdown in his first start since that gruesome leg injury, almost to date. Folks, I've said it here early, I'll say it again. We will have a new award whenever we have our next Silver Pigskin Gala, the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year Award. They should make that change in the NFL, and we're going to do it on the PPR for sure. All right, it's time to hear from everyone in the roundtable segment we call Bacon Bits. It's sponsored by Holland RV Centers Adventures. So it starts right here, and I believe Brandon Stone is behind the wheel first.
Yes, he is.
Guys, it seems like just yesterday that Michael Shawcroft was committing live on KUSI while floating on a barge at a restaurant. But ever since committing to the Aztecs, it's been a great time. Just this year in 4 games, he has 16 tackles and is tied for the Mountain West lead in fumble recoveries. What do you got, Maddie?
Well, Brandon, as we head into 2021 with an unknown football season, many San Diego athletes do know what their future looks like. 22 San Diego football athletes made their college commitment known. With 2 more national signing days left, it's safe to say that number will go up. Now let's toss it over to Nick.
Thank you, Madison. Jihad Woods, Washington State Cougars linebacker, former Helix High grad, had 8 tackles on Saturday against the Oregon Ducks. He actually got C.J. Verdell a few times, 2016 Silver Pigskin winner and modern day grad. But you know what? The Cougars came up a little short and they lost against Oregon and the Ducks. But hey, good game for him as he balled out. Bo, what do you have up next?
Congratulations to modern-day quarterback Trevor Appleman on his commitment to New Mexico State. According to Appleman, he chose New Mexico State because the coaching staff made him feel welcome, and he knew he was the first quarterback they offered a scholarship to in his class. Now to Nick Polino.
Earlier this week, 20 semifinalists were named for the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award. On that list, former Oceanside Pirate turned Army Black Knight Amadeo West. He received the nomination for handing out lunches to middle schoolers during the quarantine, along with serving as the Diversity and Inclusion Officer for Company C4. Now to Allison Edmonds.
Thank you, Nick. Madison alum Brandon Lewis is now at Air Force and was just named the Falcons' midseason MVP. He is only a junior this season and so far is averaging nearly 70 yards of offense per game and an impressive 9 yards per carry. Congrats, Brandon, and keep up the good work.
Nick was great, wasn't he?
Yeah. Tell us about your bacon bit.
I have Dalen Dunn committing to Deion Sanders Jackson. Played at Lincoln, went to Southwestern College. Now he's committed to go there. Just a great defensive lineman. Similar to our guest we have later, OG, who went to Mount Miguel, then to Southwestern College, Michigan State, then the Chargers. So it's great. And now, are you ready, Paul?
I am ready.
It is time. It's trivia time. Here's Nick Polino with tonight's El Cajon Ford Pigskin trivia question.
Thanks, Bert. For this week's Nobody Beats El Cajon Ford Pigskin trivia question, we ask, which San Diego high school football team holds the record for the most consecutive wins? Here are the 5 choices. A. Bishops, B. Kearney, C. Rancho Buena Vista, D. Foothills Christian, or E. Sweetwater. Answer correctly and you can be the new owner of some PPR and El Cajon Ford gear. Stick around until the end of the show to see who wins.
Thanks, Nicholas. Coming up, it's a jam-packed show. All these segments, all these sponsors. Can I just say a big thank you to everybody who ponied up, during a non-football portion of the PPR. Your support means a ton, and we certainly appreciate it. We'll have more show coming up in just a minute. Tony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prep Pigskin Report starts now. And it's good too, I watch it myself.
Keeps going. It looks like he spins. As he comes down, look at this. At the last minute, he is going to lateral to Victor and Duho.
Oh, man, I forgot about that. Oh, welcome back to the Prep Pigskin Report. In a normal season, this week would be dedicated to the quarterfinal playoff round. So for this week's Digging for Silver, Brandon Stone is going into the archives to find the best quarterfinal matchups from years past. It's brought to you by King Amanpour. Time has expired. Coach Ralph has got some cojones. He plays for the win. Forcier to Meadow League Holt. And St. Augustine wins.
Falcons second and goal and down by 3 when Tate Forcier's pass is picked off right there by guess who? Trevor Kolicheski.
Sumter with the great grab and he shakes a defender and he goes in for the score. So Fabra can tie it up with a 2-point conversion, quarterback keeper, and look who's there. Ricky Seal, one more time. He does it on defense as well.
Need to throw the ball. And me and my quarterback, we go into this school since junior kindergarten, and we've developed a relationship like no one else in all of San Diego. So we knew we were on the same page. We knew we had him. I knew he was coming to me, and I made a play.
But if you think that that's the play of the game, wait till you watch Sam Scaife and watch the toe. Ding dong.
Felix would score with 2:30 left in the game, but then this happens. Sammy Stewart with the interception.
Nervous, I'm not even about to lie to you. Caught it with 2 hands, prayed, ran into the crib.
Quarterback trying to run for the touchdown. But here comes Alessandro De Moreno punching out the football at the 1-yard line to stop the game-tying touchdown.
Kick the extra point. Overtime. Here we come. Hold it. Sean Doyle. Trickery. They're going to go for 2 instead. Fake the extra point. Unfortunately, this was not how they drew it up as Carlsbad defense comes up with one mighty big stop. Wow, how's that for a trip in the Wayback Machine? Thank you, Brandon. Time to bring in our Coach of the Year, also brought to you by King Amanpour. Would you like to do the introductions?
Yes, here's Drew Smith of Sierra High School.
Coach Smith, how you doing?
I'm great. How's it going, guys?
We are doing well. Thanks for making time for us this evening. It seems like a lifetime ago, but you're coming off a title run, a magical moment in school history. Would you like to go down memory lane with us?
Yeah, I mean, it was a culmination of a lot of 4 years of really hard work. When I took over the program, they'd had some success in the past, but the previous 2 years before I took over weren't the best, so I got to give it up to the junior and senior class, especially the senior class. They were my first freshman class when I got the job. So, we're like, we're going to win CIF. Like, it's going to happen. We have the talent here. We just got to put in the work, and we had growth. We had our bumps and bruises along the way. And then to cap it off for that senior class and for them to win the first CIF title in school history was, I hope it's something they'll never forget. And I know it's something I'll never forget in the school and the community as well.
Coach, what's it been like for you coaching during the pandemic? A lot of teams do extra precautions. Some teams don't practice at all. What's been your experience?
Well, we didn't practice for a very, very, very long time. When everything first started happening, I felt like I didn't know what was going on. I'm not a health professional. I got a coach on staff that has his master's degree in public health. So I was asking him a ton of questions about what's the right thing to do. And we didn't practice for a very long time. It wasn't until recently once, our district kind of gave us the go ahead to say, hey, you can practice, but you're doing it under your AAU title. And I even waited a little bit after that. And we've been doing that about twice a week. But the protocols that we have to follow are extensive, and it's been hard. To answer your question, Bert, it's been very hard.
So how long before the Breakfast Club then can reconvene?
I don't know. The Breakfast Club, that was a huge reason for our success this really the past couple years. We started it about 2 years ago, when we lost to Kearney in the semifinals the year before last. It was really because we weren't strong enough. Like, we were able to move the ball on them and we moved up and down the field, but when it came to crunch time and we needed to run the ball to get a couple yards, we weren't getting those couple yards. The guys have been lifting on their own, hopefully when we just got the go ahead from the district as well to start practice at our facility. We just got to move weight room equipment outside. So we're going to move some stuff to the auto shop area and get it started. So, cause us getting to that strength level where we could push people around, that was a huge part of our title run last year. We ran for a ton of yards throughout the playoffs, and that was a huge reason. The Breakfast Club. Shout out to Coach Collins, Coach Harris, who's stationed back in Virginia, and Coach Lockett, who set that up, and all our multi-sport guys are getting done.
Hey, Coach, for some of the other coaches out there that want to have a slick background like you got back there, share your philosophy on how to get that background.
I attribute it to two main things. Kind of my statement to all the parents and to my players is, and I got this from one of my previous mentors with Mike Martinez over at Patrick Henry, is building men for others. And we try to teach these kids hard work, values, how to be successful people in life through the teachings of football. How can they be a successful and important part of their community? How can they be great fathers if they choose to do that? How can they go on to do great things? Because football has so many great values that it teaches just through the game, the sacrifice, the camaraderie, the teamwork. That's what I stress here at Sarah, is that we're trying to build men, and it's not for us, it's for the others in this world to hopefully make it better through the teachings of football.
Coach,
and go ahead. Sorry.
No. Just in the time we have left, because I want to acknowledge the fact that you were both the NFF and the Chargers Coach of the Year. That kind of recognition. What has it done for your confidence?
I always felt like I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I've been playing football since I was about 8 years old, and I was lucky enough to be good enough to play in college at the University of San Diego, and I had some great coaches. Shout out to one of my other mentors, Coach Richard Sanchez, the old head coach at Saints and now associate head coach at Southeastern University OC. I always felt like I knew football and I knew how to bring people together and how to build team. And I guess it's kind of a validation of that, I'm humbled by it, super humbled by it. I couldn't be prouder of it. It's just humbled and great and happy that it happened.
We are humbled that you would make time for us, sir. Thank you very much. And when we see you next time on the football field, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it. Fingers crossed. Thank you. I appreciate the time and the honor.
Drew Smith, everybody, head coach over at Sarah. Time for another break coming up. We will check back in with Commissioner Joe Hines. We'll raise a glass to our Hollandia student athlete. You are watching
Prep Pigskin Report Unplugged.
Hi, I'm Footsie, and football season's my very most favorite time of year. That's because me, my family, and friends get to start in each and every highlight of the Prep Pigskin Report. You might say, I get a real kick out of it!
Let the red jacket through! Punt the red seed!
Welcome back to PPR Unplugged. It's time to welcome in CIF San Diego Section Commissioner Joe Hines, the only Joe Hines. Hey, Joe, how's it going? In the segment brought to you by Bill Howe. Hey, Commissioner.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Bert. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing well, except for all the news that keeps pushing towards an ugly in your view, the possibilities of having, what would it be, Christmas time or January football, is it starting to look worse and worse for that?
Well, Paul, I'm everly optimistic that things are going to, again, work out for everyone. I know parents, schools, communities, most importantly, our student athletes are dying to get back out there. We are as a section. I know it's the same across the state, so I sure hope so. I know the last couple of weeks haven't helped that out at all, Paul, and obviously I think people are seeing potential challenges, but again, we're pressing forward until we hear otherwise here that our December 12th start's not going to start. And we put all our efforts into that. And if, need be, we can pivot and go. But I'm just hoping that there's better news here. But again, it's going to be challenging, Paul.
Commissioner, at the top of the show, we addressed this topic. And maybe I'm just one of those doom and gloomers. But my concern is, as one of those dirty little secrets is there's plenty of school administrators who would like to see the high school sports leave the high school curriculum in that it's a budgetary and a liability concern for them. The more we're without high school sports in our high schools, are we running closer and closer to perhaps the day when high school sports is a private ordeal, a club sport, and it's not even in the curriculum at all?
Paul, I haven't heard those conversations, but then again, I'm sure administrators, I'm not the person they want to have that conversation with, but I obviously club and youth sports, they have their value, they're important. That's a separate parallel universe. But again, I'm just a strong advocate, as most athletic administrators are, of education-based athletics. And, again, those are not to take away from club and travel sports. They have their own important, benefits, but the benefit of education-based athletics and the lifelong values that kids get, the neighborhood rivalries and traditions, youth sports, travel sports, they can't compare to that. So there's always a value there. There always will be. We'll fight for that forever. And I know from speaking to most athletic administrators, superintendents, they believe that as well.
Wow, Joe. Hey, we had Drew Smith and Darren Carrington on earlier, but you really set the bar for the Zoom background. Those guys have nothing on you, man. You are a professional.
Thanks, Commissioner. We'll call it a conversation. And hopefully we got two more of these to go. We'll work on the interior decorator, and we'll also hopefully get better news.
It's good knowing that there's the aficionado of
I know, which is almost hysterical. All right, Commissioner, take care. All right,
guys,
get your hat and your milk ready. Time to raise a glass of cold Hollandia milk to this week's featured student athlete. Here's Allison Edmond shining a light on Patrick Henry's Jacob Cogan. Cheers, everybody. Here's Allison.
Jacob Kogan was drawn to the game of football from watching his hometown team.
I grew up watching the Chargers and LT, he was a stud back in the day. So, LT just got me into football. So even though I'm a lineman, my first season I actually wore number 21, in honor of LT. And then I started playing football and realized I'm not meant to be a running back. But just kind of the Chargers and LT got me into football.
And the lessons he learned, he uses to lead his own team.
For me personally, you lead by example. You can talk all you want, but it doesn't matter if you can't actually put your words into action. So for me, it was about showing up to weight room, spreading energy onto the rest of the team, and just leading everybody.
As for the next step, Jacob is hoping his discipline on and off the field will help get him there.
I'm going through the college app phase, which is kind of a tedious process, but I'm applying to schools like Stanford, Duke, Northwestern, UCLA, UC Berkeley. So, I'm just going to apply to those schools, and then my plan is just once the season ends, ramp up my workouts once again and get ready to walk on.
In the meantime, he offers advice to those coming up after him.
You just have to be ready to work, and it's not always going to be easy. There are going to be days when you do not want to practice, and you are going to have to practice. It's not a secret formula. It's just getting in every single day and not skipping a beat and getting better and taking advantage of every opportunity.
This is Allison Edmonds with the Hollandia Dairy Student Athlete of the Week.
Well done, Allison.
Yes.
In what is one of the finest segments on this show. Time for another break, but first, let's check out a special cheerleader version of PPR Home Life, since it's brought to you by Renovation Realty.
Yeah, we have a perfect name. Westview's Sophia Wright House.
Hi, I'm Sophia Wrighthouse, a senior at Westview, and during this quarantine time, I've been spending a lot of time with my family and finding out different things around San Diego that I love to do. Recently, I really loved going to the beach because it's so peaceful and calm, and usually there aren't that many people there either. I've also enjoyed working out during quarantine with my family because it's something that I never really got to do. And lastly, going on long rides with my dad and just exploring.
Man, will we ever see those pep rallies again? There's always people moving around in the county, so that's why we have a segment, Faces in New Places. Tonight, Bo Fertig is chatting with the new Hilltop JV coach and 2019 Jimmy V Award winner, Rob Mendez.
A man from Northern California, how do you end up 10 miles away from Mexico?
I reached out to Coach Wagner. This was, I want to say in June, and he responded saying that we didn't know if we were going to have a season. And literally a week later, he was like, yeah, come on, let's go ahead and talk some business, talk football. So he came down and met up with me at a coffee shop, and instantly we enjoyed each other.
What do you think it was about you that led Wagner to bring you on as a JV head coach?
I think the love of the game. For me, at least, I always want them to be contributing to society after high school in a positive way. When I mentioned that in my interview, he knew that I wanted to teach more than just football.
Gilroy, it's a small town. How does a man from a small town like that inspire the world?
I just wanted to always coach football from a young age. And year after year, I started to like the sport a little bit more. And once I realized that there was more to football than just coaching football, I started realizing that football can be a vehicle to really motivate and inspire our young students. The best part about coaching is connecting with people. So once I started, focusing on actually the people rather than trying to create the best playbook, I became a little bit more successful in my coaching career. So I started realizing it starts with the people first, and then the playbook next.
It seems like there's a lot you can learn from football and translate it into life. Is that what you've experienced?
Totally. I think football has shown me a lot of what I'm able to do instead of what I'm not able to do.
So for anyone out there not sure if they can do something, it could be in sports, it could be in your job, it can be in your life, whatever it is, I'm here to tell you that you can do it.
Bo Fertig with the Prep Pigskin Report.
we had Coach right in that studio, right over there, talking about how we were going to get him a high school, get him exposure to get him a high school gig.
Did you get him the job? Is that
Well,
what
no,
you're
of course not, but I'm just saying.
Great segment.
We feel like we're emotionally attached to Coach. Congratulations, Coach. Time to introduce our blue chip athlete. His name is Trey Edwards. He plays football at Mater Dei, and he's a really big deal.
He is.
Well, to be a sophomore and to be the #1 recruited linebacker in the country, do you pay much heed to that kind of stuff?
It feels amazing to have this opportunity. I just know I got to keep working and succeeding. It actually motivates me to work harder and to work more to maintain that spot, to make sure nobody passes me up.
Do headlines like that put more pressure on you, or do you just simply ignore them?
To be completely honest, I just simply ignore them. It doesn't mean anything. Like the titles and stuff, I mean, it's cool and all, but it doesn't mean that much to me.
Explain to me how an athlete like yourself turns it on and off, being the quiet kid in the classroom, but being a monster on the football field.
In the classroom, I know I have to stay focused. It's not the place to be loud, and I got to be attentive. But on the field, it's just where I just let everything go. I just take everything out.
At what point did you realize you were pretty good at the sport of football?
I would say ever since I was little, when I was playing flag back in youth, I thought I was pretty good at it.
If you were going to teach somebody how to play your position, what's the first thing you teach them?
First thing I would tell them is just go take somebody out. Don't even be scared. Just let it all go. Just let your body fly on somebody.
How many schools have contacted you so far, would you estimate?
Schools that have contacted me, at least 15 probably. The 9 schools I have offers from, which is Cal, Arizona State, Oregon State, USC, San Diego State, Colorado, Illinois, and I'm forgetting one.
And that list will likely grow in the years to come, will it not?
I hope so. That's the plan.
That's probably going to be the next big decision you ever make. Are you? Do you have a timeline as to when you're going to make it?
I'm not sure yet, but no time soon, most definitely.
Besides being a football player, we called your name during Little League, did we not? Weren't you part of that East Lake program?
Teammate Trey Edwards makes it back-to-back jacks as Edwards finishes the game with 3 home runs in the day and 4 RBI.
Yeah, I think 3 years ago, we were in the All-Stars for East Lake Little League.
How good was that team?
Our team was super good, actually. We could have made it further, but had some minor setbacks.
Who knocked you out?
We lost to Santa Margarita and the section before the Western regions.
How good of a ball player were you?
I would say I was pretty good, not too bad.
All right, you like to model your game after Ray Lewis. Why?
Because he's just like a dog. He sees somebody with the ball, he just wants to go kill him, and that's the way I feel when somebody's running the ball. I'm just trying to take him out. It's that simple.
Tell me about your family.
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, my mom and dad. I'm the youngest in the family. Everybody's older than me, in college or graduated already. And I have 2 nieces.
And how important is family to you?
Family is very important. First on my list. I've learned everything from my dad. He's like my superhero. My dad's taught me everything that I've known to this point in my life.
What's the one life lesson that comes to mind first?
He taught me to be a man from that kid stage into teenager. He really matured me and taught me how to become a man in what I know.
As I show you this, do you recognize that? And when you see it, what does it mean to you?
To me, it means I just got to keep working because I most definitely want to be one of the people to hold that up.
Great kid. I was fortunate. I got to watch him since flag and East Lake football. His parents, Larry and Nikita, are 2 of my favorite people in the world. I'm going to text his dad about his favorite player being Ray Lewis because he always told me it was me. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah,
Larry, I'll be texting you soon.
I aim higher. I think with Ray, he's all right. The PPR doesn't only consist of football. It's the entire Friday night experience that makes it on our show.
Yes, and here's Madison Sinclair and this week's Squad Up, the Santana Cheer, brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market.
On Friday Night Lights, we have the dance team, we have the band, but I think that the cheer team really brings out a sense of spirit and really getting the crowd engaged with the football team and engaged with the game, because without that Sultan spirit, it wouldn't be the same.
We are the face of school spirit. It's like crazy how many people are there and how loud it is.
And you can definitely feel the spirit from the stands. You can definitely feel our energies up.
Nobody knows what Friday nights will look like once football returns, but we do know that these Sultans will be ready.
Quarantine kind of first started, we were doing Zoom calls like twice a week. The captains have been taking videos of cheers and sending them out to the girls, making sure that all of the freshmen and sophomores who don't know any of the cheers, they have those down beforehand.
A lot of people used to complain like, oh, 3:30 to 6:30 practices in the hot sun. Like, I would kill to go back to those days to have it every single day. I'm more grateful now for like my teammates because I don't see them every day.
But when times are at their most difficult, the cheerleaders do what they do best. Keep the spirits high.
All you can do is hope and never lose that hope because you never know what could happen. I took for granted in my first 3 years that cheer was just like a side thing, but now looking back, I truly wish that I enjoyed every single moment of it.
And I really hope that we get the season and that we can end off 2020 and 2021 like knowing that we did our best and that we had these memories for senior year.
I'm Madison Sinclair for the Prep Pigskin Report.
Thank you, Madison Sinclair. Coming up next on PPR Unplugged, it's time to reveal this week's Silver Pigskin Awards predictions in a segment we call the National City Mile of Stars.
We'll be right back, Paul.
Thanks, Bert.
We have a PPR first night. I'm very excited. This was not scripted. It was just brought to my attention. Todd is prepared to make his college choice. Todd, the microphone is yours. You have 10 seconds.
After this long and stressful recruiting process, I have decided that I will attend the University of Oregon in the fall of 2007.
Oh, that moment made even more poignant by the fact that Todd passed in a swimming accident while at Oregon. We never got to see how good a football player he was, but anybody who ever watched him at Hoover, man, that kid could play.
Yes, he could.
All right, welcome back to the Unplugged edition of the Prep Pigskin Report. Over the last 22 years, we have seen dozens of kids make it to the next level, including Todd Doxey, who you just saw. Some of the blue chippers right out of high school. Others will go the JUCO route. It's different for everyone. So let's hear from Nick James, sitting down with former San Diego Charger. Take a listen.
Go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
OG Nwabo played at Michigan State before playing in the NFL. Former defensive lineman at Mount Miguel and Southwestern College, credits his success to playing on Sundays to his mom, among others.
My mom, she was huge. Obviously just learned, the value of hard work from her. In terms of coaching, I had some great coaches. And I always start with my coach, Coach Menard is down at Southwestern. He's still down there at Southwestern College. I mean, he kind of took me, a guy who really played no football and kind of taught me football from scratch.
Nwabo was in the NFL for 6 years, signed as an undrafted free agent with the New York Giants in 2008, then made moves from there.
That was the year after they won the Super Bowl 2008. I got cut there. I was back out here at San Diego working at Enterprise. Chargers called me up for the practice squad. So I tried out, made the practice squad 2008, and then made the active roster the next 3 years after that. And then after that, I bounced around. I went to Carolina when Coach Ron Rivera was there. I went to Detroit after that, and then I finished in Cincinnati.
2 degrees in tow from 2 schools in the Big Ten. Bachelor's degree from Michigan State and an MBA from Indiana University. Nick James for the Prep Pigskin Report.
I think the untold statement there was do your academics because they're going to come in important in life.
Absolutely.
Left a little bit untold there, but boy, an accomplished person on and off the field.
Yeah, and a great guy, too.
All right, well, in interest of full transparency, we're going to devote this space on KUSI.com to keep track of all the athletes that we're going to talk about in this segment. These are people that we're projecting to perhaps be part of the next Silver Pigskin Gala, if and when that ever happens again. The list will grow, it will get shorter, it will get longer as names fall and are put back on the list. It's a segment we now call the National City Mile of Stars. Bert, who and what category?
Ethan Knight, Otay Ranch High School. I'm going for the coveted Silver Pigskin for him.
Why?
Well, he plays everything. He plays wildcat quarterback. He plays running back. He plays outside linebacker, receiver. In 7 games last year, he had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. I mean, he is the Swiss Army knife of football players. He does it all.
Brandon, so you have him as a PPR guy. It says two-way player of the year. Either way,
I'm going to give him both.
Okay,
Brandon.
Now to Brandon Stone.
At the latest Elite 11 ratings competition, we saw a lot of big names on the scoreboard, but there's one name we recognized, Ethan Moore out of University City. And trust me, this is not a fluke. The man with the big arm who had a 60% completion percentage last year is a perfect pick as a junior for our Underclassmen of the Year watch list. Maddie, who are you adding?
Well, this week, I'm adding the explosive wide receiver from Tri-City Christian, Trey Blackford, to the Offensive Player of the Year watch list. Trey, who's heading into his senior season, has already recorded 51 catches for 747 receiving yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. He's also received 6 college offers, but still has yet to make a decision. Nick, who's on your list?
Thank you, Madison. This week, I'm adding to my watch list underclassman Thomas Grupner from Santa Fe Christian Schools. Young man plays on both sides of the ball, quarterback and free safety, multi-sport athlete as well. He runs track and he also plays baseball. Bo, what do you have up next for us?
I'm adding San Diego Caver Amari Ari to our Underclassmen of the Year watch list. Coach James gave the sophomore high praise, telling me that he's the best underclassman he's coached in his 18 years of coaching. And his offer from BYU in his freshman year cements his case as an underclassman we need to keep an eye on. Now, to Allison Edmonds.
Thank you, Bo. This week, I'm adding a name to the Iron Hog watch list, Mission Hills, Troy Faulkner. He started all 12 games last season at center, allowing only 1 sack. He also was third-team All-Avocado League and was a part of the Union Tribune's all-academic team. Nick, who are you adding this week?
Thanks, Allison. This week, I'm adding Crawford's Kevin Luong to the Offensive Player of the Year watch list. The 6'2", 225-pound quarterback has picked up 13 offers this offseason. Not bad for a guy who started his football career as a freshman on the offensive line.
Great segment, wasn't it? Yeah. Time for another timeout. Carroll's Corner is up next, but first, let's check out the PPR home life of Mia Murphy, brought to you by Renovation Realty. We renovate, we sell. And what do you do, Paul?
Hey KUSI, my name is Mia Murphy and I'm a senior at Westview, and I'm going to show you what I've been up to in quarantine. When I'm not spending time with friends, family, or working on homework, I'm here working at Naughty Barrel and Rancho Penasquitos to save up for college.
For the last couple of months, one of the main things I've been focusing on is college applications. I've been getting together with 1 or 2 friends to fill them out, and it's served as a good social outlet while we're virtual learning. Wish us luck!
Welcome back to the Prep Pigskin Report.
Time.
Unplugged.
Yes.
See this camera? That camera
yeah,
is
I know,
3.
where you get it.
This is 4. 3, 4. 3. Anyhow, here's Coach John Carroll in a segment we call Carroll's Corner. Coach, good to see you. We were talking about scholarships last week. We left off at who gets a scholarship?
Yeah, it's a process. Here's kind of how it works. The first thing I want to say is it's a misnomer to think that the high school coach, gets a high school player a scholarship. That doesn't happen. The person that gives the college a scholarship is the college, and you have to meet the needs that the college is looking for. It's the coach's job to get you in front of the college so that the college can evaluate you. But let's look at some basic things that go into getting a scholarship. First of all, it's going to be size, speed, growth potential, not just how big you are now, but what they perceive that you will grow to be, your athleticism, your positional skill set, your academics. We can never forget, kids can never forget that you cannot be recruited and scholarshiped if you do not have a 2.3 or above in 16 core classes with a corresponding SAT. No getting around it. work ethic and character all play a factor as well. So let's look at that process. There's really 3 parts to it. The first one is identification, where colleges are gathering information and identifying players that they want to look at. It's their sophomore year, their junior year that they're really putting in that work. How does that happen? Well, it's the high school coach's recommendation. It's an opponent coach's recommendation, which really matters significantly when your opponent is singing your praises. It's other colleges recruiting a player. That's gold. It's huddle highlight videos that kids put together and send out to colleges. But kids, keep them short and sweet because colleges have thousands and thousands of them. And all you want is a teaser to make them want to watch more live full film on you. It's athletic ranking services like Rivals being ranked 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. It's camps and combines you might want to go to, but boy, you better be smart. Parents, camps are trying to make money, and combines, you go out and have a bad day and you could doom yourself. And then finally, it's the college coaches themselves regionally going out and visiting high schools and eyeballing the kid, getting a look at them and pulling a transcript to see if they can qualify for a scholarship. So that's the first part. The second part is the evaluation done by the college evaluation, where they've gathered information and now they're going to process it and actually look at film, share it with other coaches, and then they have a big board. And on that board, they're going to list kids that they're seriously interested in by position. They'll determine how many scholarships they're going to give at each position, and then they'll rank those kids. And then at that point, they're making contact with the kids, and they'll start to offer scholarships based upon your rank on the board. So that third phase is, once they've done the evaluation, it's the coach and the player contacts, which can be done through text, phone calls, or social media at certain times of the year allowed by the NCAA. And it shows an initial interest in the kids. And that initial interest goes to offers. Coaches do over offer because they know not everyone's going to take a scholarship. You can either, kids can back out of scholarships and coaches can pull scholarships. So it's a whole process, and then it leads to that National Letter of Intent Day.
Coach, I am going to post that entire segment on my Instagram. That is as informative and as concise as we've heard. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week on PPR Unplugged.
Always great to see you guys.
John Carroll, everybody. You want it?
Yeah,
I lost my hat. Do it.
I got mine.
Put it on quickly.
Yep.
Read it.
You read it.
All right. Tonight we'll have our alcohol. Jeez, you said, can I read it? Can I read it? And then you don't read it. We'll be right back with the answer to the El Cajon Ford trivia question. You're watching PPR Unplugged.
Have some fun. Hey, smile when you're doing it. Smile when you're doing it. No time to celebrate, man. It's strictly business.
The Rich.
Practicing. We're trying to get on PPR.
Congratulations, you've just made it on the PPR.
All right, Paul, let's hand out some PPR and El Cajon Ford gear. Here's If Siri Was a Man, Nick Polino with the answer to tonight's El Cajon Ford Pigskin trivia question.
Hey everyone, here's a quick reminder of tonight's Nobody Beats El Cajon Ford Pigskin trivia question. Which San Diego high school football team holds the record for the most consecutive wins? The correct answer is E. Sweetwater. From 1983 to 1985, the Red Devils won 36 straight games before losing to Helix 15-6. Our social media winner is Jesse Aguilar Perez. Your El Cajon Ford and PPR gear is on its way.
You must heed my instructions! Yeah!
I believe that video clip means the show is over. Do not forget the replay extravaganza Saturday nights at 5 p.m. We are all over social media in just moments, so check out the hashtag KUSI PPR. We'll see you next Friday, the second to last show, Bert.
Yes, right here on KUSI.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Shane?
Our team has a bye week. What are we going to do? There's no football.
What are you talking about? PPR never takes a week off.